Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. Well, today I decided to wear a red shirt so to maybe give you the idea of a warning sign, a stop sign, a caution sign or something. Because what I want to talk about today is it dawned on me last night. I was doing an online golf lesson that all of you that's been on the site know that we've introduced a program where you can send a video in to us and you can have myself or Dave Seaman or Greg McDonald or a number of other certified instructors look at your video. We ask you to take a face on and down the line and send it to us. We'll work you up a lesson and with audio on it, we can draw lines on the picture, circles or whatever to around your head or whatever to see if your head's moving, lines on your body to see if your body's moving, and things of that sort. And between golf schools, as you've heard me report every time we do golf schools, we talk about what we saw at the golf schools, especially in the setups and the swings, and the same thing, it just dawned on me. I've done a number of these online lessons already, and I'm batting 100 as far as seeing a couple of critical mistakes. All right, for the most part, I'm seeing overall pretty good postures, because all of these folks are Sergites. They've been on a site. They've been on a site a reasonable amount of time, and they know the mantra of setup determines the motion. And so they're working on the setup. But again, even from the down the line views, I can pretty much tell that when I see in the distance out there where they would be aiming, they tend to have a tendency. I've had only right-handers, so they've had a tendency to aim to right. I've seen a slight case of weight, the feet a little bit too underweight on the heels, but for the most part, I'm seeing pretty good postures. And except for still see a lot of the back arm, the right arm for right-handers high instead of the master setup position where it's supposed to be a little bit bent and underneath, so it rotates easier and helps you with arms being both level to go up to that equal triangle at the top in the backswing. So setups are pretty good, but there's two major issues that I'm seeing in the swing, and they're the ones that are causing all the problems, because ultimately in the end the number one thing I say to focus on is these two things, and I'll throw in a third one. I've seen a few takeaways got a little inside and deep. All right, and so what do you figure is going to happen if somebody is taking the club back a little inside and deep, and especially if they're taking it back a little shut rather than rotating your toe up and towards the mitt? It's coming back a little shut and it gets inside and deep. Guess what they got? They're going to have too much turn, and they're very likely going to be flat and laid off, and even likely too long. But in many cases, I'm going to call that the effect of this ultimate cause. And the ultimate cause is what? Special K, all right? And anybody that's been around a lot know what I say. Special K is for breakfast, not backswing. So what is Special K? That's the thing where most golfers have been taught that they're supposed to lift their left foot up a little bit and turn their knee inward, and that allows you to take a bigger turn so you can make a parallel backswing with a big turn. Now, hello, as you've heard me say a million times, what is the definition of the peak performance golf swing? A limited turn, three-quarter swing. You turn only till your forward arm gets over the toe line, and after that it's all up. So there's turn only to here. We're not turning all the way to make this big turn. And so conversely, if the concept that for years and today, majority of golf instruction involves a huge turn in the backswing, so they want you to lift that foot and kick that knee back in, or at least move it in. And they want, and it's basically the farther you can go, the better. What is the trademark of the peak performance golf swing setup? Wide knees, outward pressure. A slightly narrower stance, wide knees, outward pressure, just to give a little stretching in your inside of your thighs here. And then what? Your knees, both knees are over the inside center of your feet. And the key is what? Resist the forward knee from moving. We do not want it to move. We want to keep it as firm as we can keep it. I don't mind a little bit of rotation. It shouldn't move more than about an inch. I've had a test where I tell people, stand here and just get into your posture and tell me how far can you move your left knee before you feel it starting to pull your hips. And 99% of the time I get an answer about 1 inch. So if you're moving that knee more than 1 inch and it's starting to pull that hip, guess what happens? If this hip starts moving, it's connected to this hip. That hip's going to start moving, and this hip and the spine's in the middle, and it's connected. Your whole body's an interconnected network of muscles and bones. So once this goes too far and that goes that way, everything's starting to change. It's just like pushing the first domino, and all the dominoes go. All right, and so I've always called the left wrist the #1 domino as far as the worst angle to break there, but this is probably the #1 domino as far as not being able to stay stable in the swing. All right, and I just see this all the time. I'm seeing this much as that. And the reason why I call it a K is because if this is relatively straight, there's your looking K. And I've seen people actually come back here, and this knee is almost touching that one. Don't see that much that often, but I'm still seeing a lot of at least that much. So if you hold your legs, you're here, you just leave that knee turn and allow it to turn. Look where my hand's going. All right, say I just keep my knee quiet and I make my turn to here. All right, I just keep that hip turning. Look at how much more my hands were allowed to go that way and longer. And that way is what? Inside the toe line. Inside the toe line is the sacred burial ground. As you know, we can stand in it, but if we swing in it, we're dead. And I like to stay alive while I'm swinging so I can hit some really good golf shots and enjoy the results. And so that's the #1 thing I'm seeing. And not naturally, once the knee moves too much, you get too much turn, the club gets deep, usually laid off and too long. And then from there, what do we got? Out over the top, because what goes around comes around. So if you get in the graveyard, you got to get out and you come over the top. And people are saying, how do I stop getting over the top? I can't stop it. And they get all of these drills and stuff. The key to not coming over the top is don't go in the graveyard in the first place. Just swing to the toe line, up, down, and through. And so the whole key to good knee action is we do everything we can to resist the forward knee moving. And so instead of having a swing like this, we're just going to keep it firm and get a bullseye. All right, well, that's it for the search for today on these common mistakes I'm seeing all the time. I'm seeing really good overall swings, fairly good balance, but there's a struggle for the balance because once that goes, it's too much. And that's one of the biggest problems I'm seeing. The left knee or the forward knee still moving too much, causing the overturn, the laid off club, and the overswing, and then out over the top for most cases. All right, so let's work hard on on our alignment, and work hard on keeping that wide knees outward pressure so that you could just stand here and just stay solid, stable, in dynamic balance, and hit those shots more solid and straight so you can keep hitting the bullseye. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.